Hey y'all, we are live. I just accidentally dropped my guest. I hope he knows to come back on. Oh man, let's see if he comes back on. You know me, I gotta have to make sure that. Okay. That I turn it on. Ah, there he is. Hey,
Hey,
I want everybody to see you. You got some more light or no?
uh, it's probably because of the light shining in back of me. I can try and close the close the drapes. Hold on.
Uh-huh. How you doing anyway?
I'm okay.
Good. I just don't know under. Mm.
Is that see that overhead?
Mm-hmm. It's that
Now
light
the
behind
overhead
you.
light is
Oh, I see it. I don't know if you can like block it by sitting in front of it. But anywho, I'm just glad you were with us. We had to do a revisit to this because I don't know. It's so important that I.
okay. Better.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, much better. How you doing, friend?
I'm all right. How are you? Sorry,
I'm
I didn't get
wonderful.
a chance to get you the bio. I'll have to do that
Oh,
if you
well,
bring me back.
yeah, well, you're gonna tell us all about yourself.
Okay. Are we on
But
Facebook or something
yeah,
now?
we are. So you can certainly share it. I've already made it public
Okay. So
if
let
you
me
want.
go to
Mm-hmm.
Nettie Long. It says you were live, but
No, I'm live. You don't
oh,
see
here
it?
we are.
Okay.
Okay, ask me
Okay.
anything. I'm good.
All right. All right. So, man, this is the man with the master plan. That's what I'm
Please.
calling you. You were the man of a master plan. Like, seriously, I don't even think you realized what you were doing. Like, when we first met. Um, but I really just wanted to just thank you for everything you have done in my life, in the life of my children, exposing them to further expose them, on the radio, the newspaper article that you did about them. Like, I don't know if people come back to you and say how grateful they are with the connections that you have put people in rooms that they probably would have never, thought to be in, and the people that I've met um over the course of, I don't know, like 10 years of my life being a poet. The people that I've met just because of you, the people who I'm working with just because of you. This is it's a big deal for me, and I can't express or even pay back, like, what you've done in my life. And I can only speak for myself. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you, how much I love you. um and we've developed a friendship, and also the business aspect of it. You've taught me a whole lot on the business aspect of it, with any questions that I might have had, or um and all of that. And I love that you look for me for to gain respect perspective on things. And that's why I've been on your radio show a couple times. What is your process, what is your thought process of me first getting to know me, or first even getting a hold of me? I know I kind of hit you up with, hey, I'd like to. I read up on you a little bit because you was really big time 10 years ago on the Facebook scene. So I kept seeing you come up. I kept seeing, your bio come up. So I kept trying to, like, okay, let me see what it's about, and the things that you were posting. I'm like, yo, I really like this dude. So at this point, you know what I mean. I've already done one. I've done a I've done one performance with my poetry, and I just want to kind of expand just by, hey, just let me give you a couple of things to hear, to listen to. Because that was important. And he's like, well, what do you have for me to listen to? And
Right.
I gave you a couple pieces to listen, and then the rest is kind of, history with us. So that's how it all started. But
Right.
your thought process, first
Okay.
meeting me.
Well, first of all, let me say I'm thankful and grateful to be here, and I appreciate being invited to speak on your platform and to be interviewed about what I'm doing and where I've been, and hopefully where I'll be going.
Mhm.
So that's the first thing. Second of all, I appreciate everything you said about the doors I've tried to open for you.
Mhm.
Uh, Let me say to you, thank you for showing up.
Mhm.
There's so many people who say they want this and they want that, and they want to be a part of this, and they have these great ideas, and they won't show up for themselves. You get it. You know, uh, what I'm going to say is going to sound very conceited, but the fact is, if I look at Nettie Long in my life before Nettie Long, it's definitely been enriched since I met you. But when I met you, like you said, you sent me some things,
Mhm.
and I said, well, let me listen and see where she's at, because uh, some people just aren't as good as they think they are, or what have you. And to make a long story longer, I once cut off somebody early on trying to work with me, a DJ named Young Hitter, who was still in high school at the time, and I didn't think he was serious, because a lot of people aren't serious, and a lot of people don't show up for themselves, and he fooled me. And every time I have him on my platform, I apologize for not giving him the opportunity to shine with me. But you know, he's going on and he's done his things and he's doing his thing. So he really didn't miss a step. That was my bad. So
Mhm.
to continue on, uh, I would be all right if I had if our paths had never crossed, but I'm glad they did. And the reason why I say that is because here's the thing. Once I realized that you were a talent, I said, well, let me see if I can put her in a place to where her talent can be experienced. She has so much that I don't have in her tool belt, which is cool. Yeah, I'm never jealous of somebody who has something else that I don't have, because I'm sure I have things in my tool belt that you may not have. That's why teamwork make the dream work. So I remember explicitly I had a performance for the 1 year anniversary of the Voorhees Art Center at the Voorhees Township Center. It was the 1 year anniversary, and I was asked to feature. And I said, well, I have a couple things that I'm going to share, but let me open the door and see if Nettie Long would like to perform too. Because the way I look at it is this: not only am I opening the door for you, but for the people who go there and experience my poetry, um, your things would compliment me, and my things hopefully would compliment you. So that was my thought process. And ever since, whenever I had an event that it made sense for you to be a part of, I've invited you to be a part of my platform. Why not?
Well, you doing so helped develop me as a host, helped develop me to be able to perform with much more confidence because I was doing them more often. Um, uh, to, in doing so, also I've met people where now I'm singing with the queen of R&B and soul, queen Angela Burton. I would not have been able to meet her had I not um, been at that Renaissance event in AC. And so AC has shown me a lot of love because of you. And
Right.
I've met a lot of people, and I'm singing behind people. Just knowing Angela, the opportunities that I've sang behind people, the award ceremony that we recently just had this year, yeah, singing behind one of the Temptations' daughters. Like it's been a beautiful bliss road in I was a young mother with children, and household full of kids, but then a family trauma happened, and I'm with a therapist, and now I'm writing. So had those things, those trauma events never happened, I would have never been in a position to need therapy, and out of that birth who Nettie Long poetry is. Had I not been so ambitious in my writing and wanting to perform them in a way that not only just compliments me, but also is who I am, because I at the end of this road, or the reason why I do the things that I do is because I care for people and I love people. And I had been in really, really bad positions where I just didn't have the support or the knowledge to be a better person. And so I believe therapy helped me become, understand what I was dealing with back then, because they have a way of going backwards to make sure that we're addressing the little girl or the little boy inside of us, and then being able to kind of correlate why some of the decisions I've made have got me to the point where I'm at. And had I not been able to allow life experiences and be able to learn from them, and those mold me into the person that I am today, I would not have met you. And so when you look back at a person's life and realize, when you look at yourself and look at their past, where I was to where I am today, I have to celebrate all the people in my life that did that. And I don't feel like we do that enough or publicly enough. You can have all the award ceremonies in the world that you can host and all of that, right? With all of the talents that, people and the attributes that you have. But no one ever really takes the time, or not enough people take the time to say, let's stop, let's appreciate. I am not who I am without help. I am not who I am if I didn't have people in my corner wanting to see good for me. And so, because somebody did that for me, my immediate circle did that for me, because you're part of my immediate circle. My immediate circle did that for me.
Where'd you go? I can't hear you. Are you on mute? Hello? Can you see me? Did I leave the room? Oh, wow. I don't know what's happening.
All right. What about now? I feel like I can hear myself. Can y'all hear me? You can hear me okay? Oh, so now I lost Raymond. This is hilarious. All right, let me see what we got going on here. I was on the road too. Okay, he's probably getting back on. He finally just kind of like it stopped loading. So now I gotta wait for him to come back on. So as I was saying, Raymond Tyler is very special to me, very important to me. Um, and I just want you guys to know who he is, and that's why I'm highlighting him today. Um, he's selfless, willing to share his platform. Um, he's a poet, a journalist, a photographer, a DJ. Like he is he's in every event that I know. I love almost at every event that I know that's going on in AC. He has some. There he goes. He has some dealings in it. His hand is in it. And I try to tell people all the time, like you gotta speak to Tyler. He at least can put you. Let me add him to the stage. I was just saying how you got your hand in everything in Atlantic City. How can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah. I don't know what happened. I heard you talking, and then all of a sudden I was bounced out. So,
I don't know
um,
what happened. But you're back. I was just
okay,
telling
yeah,
everybody
man.
how important you are to me and how you've got your hands in Atlantic City deep. Like, how did that come to be? Like,
Well,
how did that come to be?
one thing I want to say, I want to make 3 points, if I can
Mhm,
remember them, about what you were saying before, because they're very important beyond this conversation with you and I. Because again, you're all right, and I'm not saying other people aren't all
mhm,
right, but they could learn something from your journey.
mhm,
Number one, you didn't wait for me to discover you. You found out who I was, and you put yourself on my radar. So you made the first move, and made yourself available again. Number one, for people who are watching this podcast or part of your audience, what you can learn from Nettie Long is a show up. Show up for yourself.
mhm,
Listen, I love what I do. I love my business, but I came to a reckoning a long time ago. Nobody's going to love my business or be involved or be excited about my business like I am, but you need to have some level of excitement for yourself. Uh, I go to poetry readings when the poets are good. I can stay for 3-4 hours listening to good poets and gaining and learning and taking notes. And I want to contact this one and put them on that platform. They said a line right here that I really love that I'm going to use for a poem or something that I'm going to use. Put yourself in a position where you can learn and show up for yourself and for other people. Uh, you know, so that's number one. Excuse me for being so long winded.
That's all right.
Thing number two, and this is a problem that I used to have. Get help. If you're working on a project and you're overwhelmed or things are getting out of control, get help. If you've been traumatized and the trauma is more than you can manage, get help. The strongest and most intelligent, most emotionally mature thing you can do is to get help. Now, I understand why you may not want to get help. I understand why you may be embarrassed. I may understand that you feel like people will judge you or are judging you. But trust me, the most emotionally intelligent, healthy thing that you can do is reach out to somebody who can help you. There's been too many stigmas regarding trauma, rape, abuse, uh, assault, uh, family curses, uh, health and education disparities, too many things that we've carried from generation to generation when we would have done better to reach out to a professional or find someone who can give us some measure of understanding, peace, acceptance. Um, and I don't know what boat you're in, but I do know that one of the things that I've had to learn that when things get too much for me, that I have to reach out and get help, and also check on other people. So yeah, the other third thing that I wanted to address that you said, I forgot. But I'm just glad I was able to you know, put you in a place to take advantage of opportunities. Again, I'm blessed. Several years ago, I got a call back from the Source magazine back when the Source was a big deal, and I wrote a couple articles for them. I went on to write for Vibe. And it's not to say that I'm bragging. I'm saying that I'm blessed, and because of those blessings, those particular blessings, I, I know when I die, which hopefully won't be for another 400 or 500 years, they'll have to write, "Oh yeah, Raymond Tyler was a contributing writer to the Source magazine." And so, just like I told you, I've parlayed that and built on that and used that to open doors for myself. And the way my Christianity works, when a door or a blessing is made available to me, um, I feel it's my responsibility to open the door and try and be a blessing for other people. Because, like you said, that was the other thing. Yeah, nobody gets here. Nobody gets here alone. Nobody's a success on their own without people opening doors for them. People open doors for me. Uh, Ann Slim Samuel from the Source magazine, Kenya Bird, Vanessa Quarles Ruffin, who had a small paper here called Pleasant News. Right now, I'm working on a newspaper with my younger brother called Atlantic City Focus. So, again, teamwork make the dream work. Raymond Tyler is not a singular individual who did it or does it all by himself.
No, you don't. And that's what I was just sharing when you were kind of like offline there, is that you do share. You share your platform many a times. And um I just I'm just so happy that I've had an opportunity to actually be to know you to.
Okay, so excuse me for cutting you off, but I want to get this all out before I forget it. Here's the thing. Remember, I just mentioned the Source magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so at the risk of sounding like I'm bragging, um, remember when I an opportunity was given to me, and so I shared it with you so that you could open for Dougie Fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I mean, that was
How
powerful.
good does it feel to be able to say on your resume, "I opened for Dougie Fresh in Atlantic City"? Like nobody can
Yeah.
take that away from you,
Literally
right?
the opening act, actually.
Right,
Literally.
right, right. So
Because
nobody
nobody
can take
wanted to
that
go
away from you,
first.
right?
What'd you say?
I said nobody can take that away from you, right?
No.
Okay,
No.
so here's my thing. I remember the day. I remember where I was working
Mm-hmm.
when my brother called me and said, "This guy named Kenny Miles from the Source magazine called you, and he wants you to call him back as soon as possible. He like one of the ideas that you pitched."
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody that I know to feel like I felt that day, to feel
Mm-hmm.
like I felt when I opened the magazine and there was my story with my
Boom.
name in it. Um,
Right.
did the back page of Vibe magazine,
All
and
right.
that was like a big thing because it was always a nostalgia piece. And a lot of times when I would buy Vibe magazine, I'd go and start reading from the back. I'd see what piece of nostalgia that they were covering. So I wrote about the band, the Bayou Classic in New Orleans for Vibe magazine, and and again, it's not to say that I'm bragging or that I'm a better writer
No,
than
I want people to know
anybody.
who you are.
No, but the reason why I share my platform is because I want everybody in life should have that opportunity to feel like I felt that day. It's a special feeling, and it's something that nobody can take from me.
That's right. Can't nobody take that away. Not for me, anyhow. I mean, that was such a big deal. And literally nobody wanted to go first. You know, nobody wanted to go first. I'm like, I'll go.
There you
And
go.
then we were told that we were going to have x amount of time up there, songs up there, and then they cut us down to one.
Okay.
They cut us down to one, and so I was like, okay, this is I'm going to let's do the piece with me and my son. And so we picked one, and boy, were they at towards the end, Dougie Fresh was, he was arriving late or whatever.
Right.
But and they had wished that they had allowed us to go longer because they were just trying to, you know, the the people that were going on ahead of him, they kept stretching it out, their
Yeah.
time stretched out. And of course, my kids didn't understand that. No, we could have done our pieces. Now they're trying to figure out what to do next, but the experience, it prepared us for other things to come ahead.
Right.
And can't nobody take that away. And so that's how I met Angela.
Right.
And
Right.
she pulled me to the side. She's like, girl, you bad, you bad.
Yeah.
And I
You're a
was like,
special
well.
talent.
And then the following weekend, she invited me to, because she was singing at the corner of, what is it, the musicians corner, is that what
On
it's
the
called?
boardwalk or the one on Kentucky and the curb?
Well, it was on the on the boardwalk where she
Okay,
was.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forget, celebrities
Yeah,
corner, that's what it's called.
yeah, yeah.
And she
But
was off in.
even that, do you know how many people like there are big name entertainers who have not sang on actually on the boardwalk?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you're
Sure.
blessed.
Yeah, no, I was my family, my son, he um was just just couldn't believe it, just couldn't believe it. Then when you had us come to Philly to do the radio show, his friends were there. His friends all tuned in, and they were just so crazy happy for him. And so it brings a lot of memories now that we're talking about all of the things that we've experienced because of you. That it's like, I could have never, like I said, I could have, if my life, didn't happen the way it did, I just wouldn't have had these great people, these men and women in my life that truly care about me, that truly want to see me do good, and for the purpose of good.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So
There are a few people out there who think that or say that Raymond Tyler doesn't want to see everybody win, but those people are lying or ill informed or both. I mean,
right,
I'm serious.
right.
You can't be a success without making some mistakes, and the
Yeah.
mistakes I made I own. But without people feeling that they've been slighted in some kind of way. But I want everyone to win, and the only thing that I would really ask you, I mean, there's certain things like I have a boat ride fundraiser that's coming up. I might ask you to buy a ticket.
I'm
Uh,
going to.
I might ask you to contribute to our annual toy drive. But the only thing, that's kind of giving back to the community. The only thing that I ask you to do for me is that when you're in a position to help somebody, you help them.
Mm-hmm. And that's what
Because
I'm
that's what
doing.
was done. That's what was done for me.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
I don't. Well, I was just doing this on the fly, so.
So you asked me about you asked me how I got my hands
Yeah, yeah. So wrapped
so
up in
into Atlantic
Atlantic
City.
City. How'd that come to be?
Well, first of all, I was born and raised in Atlantic City.
Okay.
Second of all, like many people who sing, which I can't really sing, although I was in high school choir. A little known fact about myself. Uh, I started off doing what I'm doing now with curating and putting together events and matching up talent in the church. That's where I started.
Wow.
Um,
I did not know that.
yeah. And one of the earliest stories I have, which I never let people forget it, I went to Chelsea Junior High School,
Mm.
and the kids who were in my class, um, I signed up for a speech contest, a great American and what he means to me. And the kids in my class was like, "Oh, Ray, just go and represent, but you're not going to win because Arnell, who is my heart, she is such a sweetheart. Arnell Lyles, as a matter of fact, if you come into the event on Sunday, she's going to be she's going to be presenting Michael Bailey with his award. So Arnell
Okay.
Lyles was an actress. She's a great actress. Nicole Gupton was also into drama. This guy named Lauren Decker. I sound like Michael Jordan because I remember all these names and all these names of people they said we're going to, all these people are going to do better than us. But if you just go up there and do your thing and represent for our section, we'll be proud of you. Blah blah blah. And my Mr. Edwards, who's gone now, my social studies teacher, uh, helped me with my speech and helped me go through it. Mrs. Lamson, who was my English teacher, I don't know if she's gone, but I just suppose that she's gone by now. And me coming from the hip hop generation that I'm from, I had zero doubt or nerves that I was going to win. I mean, like I let people talk their ish, but I was like, they don't know about me, so I'm gonna have to show them what time it is. And of course, I won that speech contest.
Of course you did.
But ever since then, I've been going hard for myself. And I've been going hard for my city. And again, I don't apologize for going hard for myself. Again, I come from that hip hop generation, not one, but maybe generation 2 or 3. Like I wasn't in the Bronx in 1973, but I was about 8 or 9 when Rapper's Delight dropped. And then so that whole Muhammad Ali, believe in yourself, I'm a bad man type thing resides in me today. But like Muhammad Ali, it's not about saying that I'm better than the next guy because I want to be over the next guy. I want the next guy to be amazing so that he pushes me to be amazing and a half. And so I went from that to doing it in my church, putting together events, writing skits for my church. One more quick story about showing up for yourself. As good as I am, my mother, Mary Tyler, at putting things together and curating, much better than me. She the events that she put together in our church, I wish my events were half as nice as my mom's events. Now, she did a skit or a play based on Jesus being on the sea and the disciples going nuts and him saying peace be still. So she wrote this out. She had the kids. She was the Adventist youth leader, and she wanted me to play the lead. She wanted me to play Jesus. And for whatever reason, I was like, I go to school all week. And then you want to take up all my time after school, making me practice and be a part of this. So she got tired of arguing with me, right? And here's the part that killed me. That I never forgot. The first lesson I learned in who I am and showing up for myself. She said, "You don't have to be a part of it, but you are going to go and support the family." So she gave my part to Lewis Hupp, whom I love, and I hope he sees this. So I hope him or his sisters see this interview. She gave my part to Lewis Hupp, and she made me go. I think the church was in Mantua or somewhere like that. Anyway, so I'm there. I'm sitting there, sour face, looking stupid, while everybody else is doing their part. They're part of this great program, and I'm sitting there looking stupid when I could have been a part of it. But I'm thinking I'm more important than I really am, and I'm thinking that oh wow, here we go again. I don't know where she went.
I'm here.
Okay, so I don't know where I got cut off.
I couldn't hear, so I had to do it.
Oh wow! So how much did you hear?
1 second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Sorry. Me and my long stories. Oh well, I have to say.
No. Say it.
Now I don't know. Did you hear the?
Okay, you said to support the family. That you're going to support the family.
So my mother gave my part to Lewis Hupp, who, like I said, I hope his sisters or him or both or all of them see this interview. And I'm sitting there looking stink faced because everybody's on stage. They're shining. They're having a great time. They're a part of this great presentation. And I'm sitting there looking stupid when I could have been a part of it. So, yeah, you know.
Well, that kind of like brought to my remembrance, huh?
That's it. So I learned the hard way, but I had never forgot. I tell you what, that's not when people ask me to be a part of something, if I can do it, I'll do it. And especially for church and for God, like again, that's one thing. Like after I got like 2 or 3 years older, I learned to never say no when somebody asks me to do something for church. Even now, if people invite me to church, synagogue, mosque, I'm going. I'm not Muslim, but if you invite me to the mosque, I'm going.
There's not quite many people like you. I can honestly say I cannot.
They can be. I'm not special. In that regard, I'm not special.
I don't know.
I'm obedient. I can tell you story after story
I'm sure you can.
of, and I think I may have shared this one to you with you.
Mhm.
I joined the Philadelphia chapter of the Grammy Awards. First year I joined,
Mhm.
they do a Grammy party every year.
Mhm.
So I had been out clubbing the night before,
Mhm.
Saturday night. And so I knew the Grammy party was Sunday back in Philly. I didn't feel like going. It was like, I gotta catch the bus. I gotta walk down there. I don't want to go. God was like, you need to be at this party. I'm like, but I don't want. I'm sitting there. I'm literally arguing with God. But I'm dumb. I'm stupid. But I'm not that stupid that I know that God won't tell me to do something or to move if there's not a reason behind it. So I go to the party, and it literally God says go, and if you only stay for a half hour, you pass out some tear sheets, which are clips of your writing to some people there, and make some connections, and just come on home. You know, so I'm on the bus, miserable, and going to this stupid party. I go to the party. I immediately meet Liz Spickle, who is one of my favorite people in the world, who introduced me to Tim, who runs Mighty Writers now, but he was the head editor at Philadelphia Weekly magazine. So I meet Liz Spickle, and long story short, that was Sunday. Thursday, I interviewed T.I. and Fat Joe for Philadelphia Weekly magazine.
That's crazy. That's
But
crazy.
but you talk about how your life would have trajected if you hadn't been. If I never got on that bus, I
Right.
might not be talking to you right now.
Right. Facts.
If I
Jeez.
argue with God the whole time, and I laugh about it now because God knew better. He had me on that bus for a reason. Now the, I was dumb for hanging out all night long the night before, knowing that the thing was the next day. But
Mhm.
God didn't even bring that up. He said, "Look, just go." And thank God I wasn't stupid enough to be disobedient.
Mhm. Well, he certainly meets us where we are. He certainly meets
Indeed,
us where we are.
indeed.
He's so patient with us, ain't he?
Well, I mean, these
Mhm.
stories they're funny to me, and they'll go in my memoir and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I really hope that whoever's coming across this
Right.
is learning, because there's so many opportunities that we have to learn that we turn our backs on,
That's
and
right.
sometimes that knowledge doesn't come back around.
Hmm. Hmm. What I do know in my life that when things keep coming back around, is because I haven't learned from them. Right.
Hmm.
Um. They I haven't learned from them, but once I do, once I get it, and it tries to kind of creep up, it has no place. I give it no
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
You know.
We do serve a patient God, but Um, there was a cat when I was in high school. He was in college, named Len Bias, who was a very popular basketball player.
Mhm.
First time he tried cocaine, his heart literally exploded, and he was
What?
on his way to the Boston Celtics, crazy NBA deal and stuff like that. God is patient, but sometimes we don't get a second chance to make a mistake. I mean, I know people who, have children that they didn't necessarily plan for, so I just I try to admonish people that God is patient, and know he doesn't cut us down the way we would cut each other down if we were
Right.
wrong. But it's worth, if we can, to get it right the first time,
That's right.
depending on what the situation is. And
Hmm.
so, like I said, um, I'm glad I was I'm glad I was obedient, because working for Philadelphia Weekly opened so many doors in my life. I was at a party Sunday, and Jeff Bradshaw came through, and I interviewed him back when he was on his first record label with Jill Scott, and Jill's another honey of mine. So um, Jill I met through poetry, but
Uh-huh.
Jeff Bradshaw I met through journalism, and again, um, being obedient.
Mm.
Shout out to Myron Ruffin.
Hello. Oh, wow. Um, how did you get into photography? Or is that more like a hobby?
It's more of a hobby. It's something I had to pick up. Uh, Being a journalist, because sometimes they can't send a photographer, so sometimes you got to take your own pictures to get
Okay.
the story. But really, I draw
And you draw
professionally,
beautifully.
I
Oh,
paint professionally,
yes, you do.
I write poetry, and now I do that professionally. I DJ professionally. So
Yeah.
I wanted some type of uh representation or expression of art that I just did just because I love it. And that's how I got into photography.
Nice.
I mean, I've never taken a class, or probably won't take a class unless one of my editors want me to. But
Right.
when I have the time, I do like to go into new cities and just shoot and ask people if I can shoot them and stuff.
And your drawings and your paintings. I didn't even, I think I've known you for years before I found out you actually drew. Because you do all these other things, like, um, they're just those things that you do are just in the forefront. But then when I just thought you curated, but I didn't know you were a poet until you started showing that, and I'm like, and then you invited me to open up for you. That was like, what? You
Yeah,
want me
yeah,
to
yeah,
open up for you?
yeah.
And so after I wrote a piece specifically for you for that. Um, and I was so nervous doing it, right? So nervous doing it, but I'm glad I did because it helped. I don't know if you noticed, but I had two women that came over to me and just talked my ear off,
Yes.
telling me how it really touched them, and they didn't even like they just, and then after that they probably still follow me to this day, because then later on I saw a Facebook post, I mean a Facebook following of them, but I mean it just goes to show you that the more you kind of sharpen up yourself against someone, the more they're going to bring out more confidence. And this is when I was just starting, like,
What
I
we
was just so
yeah.
nervous. Go ahead.
What we do may be the closest thing to magic, real magic that there is, because if somebody asks you to write a poem about cheeseburgers, either
Mhm.
you can do it or you can't.
That's
You
true.
can't, somebody can put a gun on you, but if you can't do it, then you can't do it. And
Mhm.
the part that's magic is, if I share a poem, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be somebody in there who needed to hear that poem. My
Mhm.
poem was about the 3 poems I did. 2 of them were about laughs, and then one of them was about missing an
Mhm.
opportunity to be an uncle to my niece, who was almost stillborn. She only lived a few hours.
Mhm.
Um, but there were people there who needed a laugh, and then hopefully they got that, hearing my poetry about my high school crush, and
Mhm.
then I wrote a poem about the importance of acknowledging a 1 year anniversary of all the great things that can happen in a year. um
That's
and then you
yes.
came, along and wrote about what you wrote about
Mhm.
from your perspective, but there were people there who did not even know that they were going to hear what you were going to say, didn't
Mhm.
know that they needed to hear what you were going to say. And so just like God told me to be in that place in Philly to get that opportunity to write for Philadelphia Weekly.
Mhm.
God, there were people who might have been saying, "Oh, I'm not going to Voorhees Township Center today," and God put them in that place, and God put you in that place.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we're blessed to be able to do that for people, and people, there are poets who have done that for us. I mean, there are bigger, larger poets like Gil Scott Heron and Sonia Sanchez, and then there's people like I don't know if you know
Ambition the poet.
Ambition the poet.
Yeah, it was at your one of your events is how I met him, and he
Okay,
ended up, yeah. So I just gave him tribute not too long ago on the 15th.
yeah,
He
he
was
does so
on.
much with foster care.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah,
But I ended up being under his wing. He ended up coaching me
okay,
to even become
more fun.
a better yeah, a better performer and all of that. Him and Nikki D the poet.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know Nikki D.
Yes. I do remember that poem that I wrote. It was called First of Many.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember
No,
that.
no.
Yeah, First of Many. So, yeah. So, yeah, we did that. Let's see. I remember the first you're always looking for somebody to either co-host with you. You remember?
You know
That's
why?
how
But here's the thing.
it's a lot to do what you do because you were
Well, I don't
DJing.
even think I should be. I really, if I had a tight knit group,
Mhm.
and I've talked to this to my business manager, I'm seeing out front way too much. I,
Mm.
in a perfect world, I would work behind the scenes, and 2 times a year, I would come out and do something special. And then
Mhm.
Nettie Long would be hosting,
Mhm.
uh, Paradise would be hosting, Lynn would be hosting, my man Lamar Roberts would be hosting, my brother would be hosting, other people would be hosting, and I would just be behind the scenes, maybe show up and share a poem. One thing I want to get to is I want to get some other hosts so that I can come to my own events and just DJ, or even better yet, like paint live. That's what I really want to do. Set up an
Ooh.
easel and bring my utensils and just go live and enjoy the show with everybody else. I'll still put it together and curate it and stuff, but
Yeah.
see,
Okay,
here's
well,
the
we
other
gotta
thing.
talk.
Here's the other thing why I'm glad you don't really do a lot of hosting for me. We've known each other about 5-6 years. I know it was well before the pandemic,
Mhm.
and I know our first event was at Voorhees Township Center.
Mhm.
So when somebody's working with me, I give them 5 years. 5 years to host with me, 5 years to be a co-host on the radio show, 5 years to be a part of my platform or whatever. In that 5 years, you should be making your way into developing your own platforms, your own StreamYards or Facebook podcasts. Wink, wink. Um, I'm not. I'm not here to have somebody quote unquote under my wing and then hold them down so close that they can't let go.
That's right.
You have your own ministry that you need to do and to get out there, and you have people that you need to go and to help beyond my little scope of vision. And another quick story. I saw I saw Michael Jackson, YouTube of Michael Jackson performing Billie Jean at Motown 25 way million years ago. But this one had a clip of Barry Gordy saying, it's a shame Michael Jackson couldn't have done that here at Motown. He could have created that music here at Motown. Love Barry Gordy. Barry Gordy was wrong in that fact.
Mhm.
Barry Gordy was not the type of person to give people what they needed to expand, and he did a million great things, but being supportive of ideas that were beyond him was not one of them. So, it was important. Michael and the Jacksons had to leave Motown for Michael to be able to produce, to work with Quincy Jones and to do Off the Wall and to do Thriller and all those amazing things that he went on to do. Doesn't take away from everything that he did, which was great on his Motown catalog. Same thing with me. I have a young lady who I love to death. Her name is Michelle Mosley. She is such an incredible poet. And for 2 or 3 years, she was a part of my radio show. And she helped my radio show so immensely become so amazing with her insight, with things that I couldn't see. And it was a joy to have her there. But now she does Sip and Discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a bigger fan of her platform than me, I'm going to fight him. Like, I'm going to call him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
It would have been incredible, but incredibly selfish to say, no, you need to stay with me and help me keep producing the radio show. No, you need to go out on your own and have your own platform, and it's going to be dynamite. It's going to be bananas. You're going to bless a lot of people. You're going to have a lot of fun. And when you get ready, you can call me to come and be, to be a guest on your platform, but I'm not going to tell you how to run it. And I'm not, I'm going to allow you to be the beautiful success that you are. I'm going to take credit for it when I can, that that you started on my platform. But I want you to succeed. And I'm so proud of you and what you're doing with this platform, which is why I was surprised that you wanted me to be on, because I don't really talk about my traumas like that. That's not my bag. But I know that this platform helps so many people. I know this platform is so very important and urgent and needed and necessary. And I know, honestly, it's not a platform that I could have produced from scratch. It's a gift, it's a message, it's a calling that God gave Nettie Long. So while I'm thankful for everything that you've done in the time that we've worked together and working together, I need this to be, as big a success as you can make it. And anytime I can help you, let me know.
Y'all
and again, you see, there's not a lot of people like me.
No.
Believe me when I say I'm not special. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to get the heaven.
It's just who you
like
are, Raymond.
Used to say, and I'm trying to do what people did for me. I can name a whole bunch of names, past, present, and hopefully future.
That's what I'm saying. That because of how you are, who you are, you have inspired me to want to do the same for others. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing exactly.
Do you know the story about the monkey with the banana?
No.
There was a monkey. There was a banana in a tree, and the monkey put his hand in the tree to get the banana.
Okay.
But he wound up starving to death. You know why?
Why?
He could not let go. The banana was stuck in the tree, and he couldn't get his hand out of the tree for holding on to the banana. So he wound up starving to death because he wouldn't let go of the banana. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. You see? Can you see this hand?
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
Okay, so right now it's empty.
Mm-hmm.
But you see this fist?
Mm-hmm.
Make a fist and put it up to the screen. God can do a lot of things, but he can't put nothing in there as long as that fist is clenched tight like that.
Come on.
You got to open up your fist.
That's right.
You got to open it up.
And ask for help. Be the help.
Or share. Trust me. Mm-hmm. You are not going to give away anything to anybody else that God can't give you back double.
That's right.
And when I say that ain't no thing I'm saying to push my book, because I don't have no book. I'm telling you what I know.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm working with Harv Nichols. I don't know if you know Harv, to bring him on to start producing my Friday night platform, The Light.
Mm.
Little by little, I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to remain a producer behind the scenes, but he's going to be the co-producer and the MC of the
Uh,
light because I've been there.
it's
How
time.
long
It's
I've been in
time.
Philly now?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
time for
yeah.
somebody else's
Time.
voice. Plus I have two. I have the Wayback Machine on Saturday, and I
Yep.
have America Coast to Coast on Sunday. It's time
Hmm.
for somebody else to do the light.
Right. Right. Mm.
I know where the light started.
Mm.
And and I don't believe God is that selfish that he's not going to bless me for giving somebody else the opportunity to take it and push it in new directions and new boundaries. You can hear me? Sound went out again? Okay. Can
It's
you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. What I was saying is,
Excellent.
as long as I've been doing the light, I don't believe God is that selfish, narrow minded, or small. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't believe he's that small of a God that I serve that he wants me to move into better, bigger and better things. I got so many great things coming up this summer. I'm doing First Fridays Atlantic City. I'm doing a mixer at the Vegans R Us on July 28th. I got a birthday party July 14th on the boat.
I'll
Uh,
be there.
July 26th, I'm curating Pleasantville's first jazz event. Um, so what I look like? Oh, but I need the light though, because that's mine. Because like God didn't give it to me. Can, you can't hear me?
No, I can. I have somebody at the door.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I've been running my mouth for too long anyway.
No, finish that, and then we can end. That's fine.
Okay, yeah. What like I'm saying is,
Hmm.
all the things I have, great things I have ahead of me. What do I look like holding on to something God blessed me to be a part of and create 5, 6, 7 years ago? And I have a great guy like Harv who is looking to get into radio and wants to do some things, and I can help him. And I'm still going to be behind the scenes as a producer, but it's time for me to look forward and to let somebody else have their turn.
Hmm. And that's what you do. So I'm glad that you finally are, looking to get somebody to, take over a little bit. Um, and yeah, like you said, you know where it started from. You know where it stemmed from, as far as the light, the radio show. And I'm glad. I'm happy for you. So you're also evolving. That's
Always, always,
always right.
always. Listen, if I have an event that I invite you to, and you say, "Listen, Ray, I want to host," you take the day off. While we're in the planning stages.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I'm not going to take the day off. Like I said, I'm probably going to paint live, or maybe the first one I will just take the day off.
I
Just
love
walk
that
around,
idea, that
you
whole
know.
painting live, but I have some other ideas to go along with that. So I definitely
Well,
will host
I
something
got to
like that.
watch you because there's stuff about Nettie Long that people don't know. Good stuff, but still.
No, I love that idea. So we're gonna talk after this, but
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, guys, like for those of you who are viewing this, or well, those of you who are gonna catch the replay, first of all, thank you. I just wanted to highlight very, very special people in my life. I have my therapist coming on at 4 o'clock.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I have to start a thread for her.
Right, right.
But a stream for her. But I wanted to end the month and celebrate all month that it's a big achievement. This is season 3 that I'm wrapping up. I'm going to season 4. So, and I'm going to continue to do this until, I don't know, wherever it takes me from here. What I can tell you was that they took my choice away. People have viewed it in the Netherlands, South Africa, just because of the connections. It's so important. You taught me connections. You taught me to connect with people. And like you said, put yourself out in the forefront. If you believe in yourself, I chose to believe in myself. I chose to, but I was also being led. I felt like the Lord led me every step of the way, and every time I'm scared to do something, I did it afraid. And so by
Did you get it?
doing that by doing that, there's people who know me by name. And so, and that's not to put a, pat my back or whatever, but I've at least it is something for the positive. At least it
Yeah.
is something for God's greater good. And that's how I see it.
So
I'm
so so
his
so let me
vessel.
let me turn the interview on you. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Um, just to see, has this happened to you? Have you been out with your family or somewhere minding your own business, and somebody ran up to you excited to meet you?
Yes. Yes.
Has it been somebody that met you, but you don't really recall where you know them from or
No.
what venue?
Yes. So yes.
Okay, so you made it.
From a distance, no,
So
from local events and things like
yeah,
that. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
but you didn't know who they were. They knew who you were, and they were
Yes.
excited to see you. Oh,
Yes.
you don't know, and I saw you here. You made it.
Tyler,
Take the win. Take
Raymond.
the win. So let me ask you another
But
question.
let me tell you this
Okay,
story real quick.
go ahead.
I was at the barber shop. My sons were getting haircuts, all four of them. And they were, if you know my kids, they're all different ages, right? And so, um, I went to visit a friend of mine who was cutting, and I was like, you know what, we're in the area. Let me see if he can squeeze this in, and he did. And it was another gentleman there that I knew because I used to work with him. And he said out loud, he was like, Nettie Long poetry. I was like, yes. I was like, how you been talking to him? He's like, if people knew who they were sitting next to, and I'm sitting next to people because it's like a waiting area. If
Yeah,
people only knew who they were sitting next to,
yeah,
they would
yeah.
be the atmosphere would be a whole lot different in here. And so I felt that that was the best compliment anybody could have given me.
I
I
want to
said,
send a shout out to the late great Omar Anderson from Atlantic City, who used to do that to me when I went into his barbershop, and I hated it. I absolutely like don't do
really.
man because I always feel like people don't really care. Like they like you made it, so what? But that's why I tell people I'm not special.
Yeah,
You
no, I
can
don't
do
feel that.
anything I did. You can do if you're going to do it. But anyway, he used to do the
Hmm.
same thing. Like man, people need to know, and I hated it. And then when he passed away,
Mm,
I understood what he was doing,
mm,
and why people do that
mm,
because they do want to acknowledge you, and
mm,
you have done things that the community should know about.
mm,
And if people in your community are listening, if a young 13-year-old girl is listening to Cardi B and Meg the Stallion, and I'm not trying to take no money out of their pockets, and they don't know who Nettie Long is, she doesn't have the whole story.
mm,
You know, the media doesn't have the whole story. The media should be, for every story about, Megan Thee Stallion got a new pair of boots, Cardi B opened this, there should be a story about Nettie Long poetry and the fact that she was there for her children and got them into the music business. She
mm,
got other kids into the music business. I can't even think of the kid's name, but it was a kid I booked for a program. Big dark skinned guy who plays the guitar. I booked him for a couple events, and after I booked him, he said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for giving me my start." I was like, "Well, I opened the door." He said, "No, not here. he performed with your kids over at the art gallery.
Okay.
And so I'm like, yeah, so people need to know Nettie Long poetry. So yeah, they do. They do. And so when you walk into a barbershop, people need to say, yeah, people, if you only knew who you were sitting next to, somebody who's very
That was the
important.
nicest thing somebody could. I've never had that before, but I'm
So
a.
you, but I say all that to say that you made it. You're a success. You may not listen. I don't know if any of us are ever going to get 300, 400, $500,000
Mm,
for doing poetry, and I don't know. We should, but I don't know if that'll happen.
I understand.
Um,
But
but when
most
I look at
poets aren't
people,
in it for the
I know
money.
people who make that kind of money who aren't happy.
Yeah, that's true.
I know people who would knock me into heavy traffic because they think they want to be they want everything that I worked for, and
Mm.
they don't realize that either.
Oh, come
And,
on.
and so, like for you to do this for 3 years, I know that there were times when you probably flew in the door and you hadn't eaten yet. I know there were times when you might have had been getting over COVID or the flu, or you might have wanted to be back in bed. But you know what? They took my choice away as an Eddie Long production, so Eddie Long got to be there.
That's
You
right.
know, you know, people don't see the sacrifices that we
Yeah.
made to to have these platforms and to see these platforms grow and continue for years on end. Um, and then there are people who had beautiful platforms, great platforms, that did so much for people, and I can't judge them, but they didn't continue. They let them they let them go. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's because it was time for them to move on, and then sometimes it's because they got discouraged. And again, I'm not judging because I get discouraged. There are
Yeah.
times when it's time to produce the light, I'm like, yeah, and I don't feel like being bothered with music, people, interviews, nothing.
Yeah.
But I go to my smile drawer, figure out a smile. You don't like today.
Well, I mean, you guys heard it yourself. Raymond Tyler, y'all. Raymond Tyler. Um, I just, again, just thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so
please
much.
follow me on Facebook. I
Thank
have,
y'all.
if you're an artist, I have some amazing projects coming out from jazz to visual arts. Your
I want to be
daughter's a
part
visual
artist.
artist, right?
Well, yeah, you talking about Tamara, my oldest.
The one who was for, we've never gotten her stuff up on the walls. We got to get her stuff up on the walls this summer.
I shall tell
So,
her.
yeah, Atlantic City, Vineland, and I got some more. I'm in talks with more people to do more stuff this summer. So, follow me on Facebook. Shoot me an email, Raymond Tyler 2018 at gmail.com. Get in contact with Nettie if you
Hmm.
can't remember all that, and then get in contact with me. All right.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you again. Bye for now.
You're welcome again, and take care. And, like
I'll
Clay
see you.
King
Well,
says, I
I'll
ain't
see
never
you
really
Sunday.
gone.
I'll see
You
you
see me Sunday.
Sunday. That's
There
right.
you go. All right.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.